Hey, what's going on, Playbill Nation? This is Joe Roscoe.
Hey, happy Monday. Happy Motivation Monday. This is Joe Roscoe from Built for the Stage, Broadway's #1 fitness platform. It's been a week, maybe a week or two. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. We're approaching the holiday season fast, and we're bringing on a guest for you today that you might have seen in Pretty Woman on Broadway. You might have caught him on the Hamilton tour, or hopefully, possibly in the near future in 2021. But with the holidays coming up, our guest just released this amazing video performance called Tappy Christmas. And we want to just bring him on to chat about it. Please welcome to Motivation Monday, Christopher Rice.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me, Joe.
Hey, my pleasure. It's good to chat about something other than working out with you. That tends to be the conversation piece, but I got to see Tappy Christmas and just beaming my heart, just lighting me up watching it, just seeing people perform again. So congratulations just on the quality of it and how entertaining it is.
Thank you so much. It was so important to me. I love Christmas and I love tap dancing, so I love putting those two things together. It just seems very like classic and it feels right to me. But this year I wasn't planning on creating anything because I was aware of the pandemic. I didn't want to put anybody at risk, things like that. But I got to work on a web series called Neighbors earlier this year. We shot in August or September, and I was so impressed by the way that they were creating something and doing it safely. And that inspired me to do the same. I was like, I can create something. And this year, I think we need it. I think we need a boost of joy. I want to create like a 20-minute Christmas special that features different Broadway artists with a lovely, diverse cast that can really represent like the best of Broadway and bring that to people free of charge. So that was something that was important to me, especially with the crazy year that this has been.
Well, you certainly were successful. And after watching it, I got to kind of go down the rabbit hole of YouTube and exploring on your page a bit. And this wasn't the first Tappy Christmas. You started this back, I believe you said, in 2014.
I've done a couple videos over the years. So I've done a variety of different tap-related Christmas videos, including one with Laura Osnes. I think that was in 2015. And then starting in 2016, I was inspired by like the 1950s and 60s television specials, like the Judy Garland Christmas special, old school type, MGM style musical reviews. So I got Beth Level and Cara Lindsay, and I reunited the Dames at Sea stars in my very first Tappy Christmas special. And then the next year I had Kyle Dean Massey, some other lovely guests, and it really inspired me to keep creating. And it's just really fun. I enjoy it. It's literally for the love of the art form and for the love of sharing something joyful with others. So I've done a couple of them, and I hope to continue and make it bigger and better each year.
So with this being a series called Motivation Monday, I'd love to just give some people out there that are watching that are maybe inspired by your producer mindset or your ability to just put on these productions. What does it take to gather the talent? In this case, this year, work around guidelines. What kind of tips or advice could you give people out there that are like, I wish I could create something like this? Where do you start?
Sure. I think the first thing every artist or entrepreneur feels is imposter syndrome. And you have to acknowledge that if you're feeling imposter syndrome and you feel like you're not cut out for it, but you have the desire to do it, it means you're going in the right direction. So you have to lean into it, press into that, press through that fear, and find that motivation, find that thing that motivates you to keep creating. And then at that point, it's all logistics. It's finding a location, it's finding a videographer, trusting yourself that you can pull it all off, finding a cast, finding, for this project, we needed musical arrangements to be created and choreography and all those things. So it was a lot to work around and work through this year with COVID. We took a lot of precautions. We didn't have any in-person rehearsals. We did all via video. I would record myself in a studio and send it out to all the dancers, as well as we pre-recorded all the vocals, but one at a time. Any chorus vocals that we had were sung one at a time, which made for a really long day. in my makeshift apartment recording studio, but it was a lot of fun too. And when we shot the choreography, the opening number has a big dance sequence with me in the middle, surrounded by like 15 dancers or so, maybe a little more. And we shot that in 3 sections. We shot that with just me and 2 dancers behind me and like a tight shot. And then we shot, that was one group. Then we had another group that was just the dancers on my stage right side and the dancers on my stage left side. There were 2 separate groups called at different times. And we spliced it together to make it look like a big dance group. And I think we were pretty successful. The lighting may be slightly off at times to be a lot of open windows that we shot at different times throughout the day. But in the end, the effect is really nice, and we kept everybody safe that way, which is nice.
Well, I haven't watched it 1,000 times, like maybe, It's a Wonderful Life, but watching it just one time, I can tell you I did not notice the difference in the lighting. So you're safe on that.
Sure. Hold the wool over you guys.
Yeah. Going back to that entrepreneurial mindset or just the tendency to have that urge to produce and create something, has that just been naturally a part of you, or did someone or some past life, circumstance kind of ingrain that entrepreneurial mindset in you?
That's a really great question. I think like a lot of theater folks, I put on productions in my backyard and was always putting on skits around the house. And I think that became something that I would kind of embellish on. I would put together a little Star Wars movie I'd write with my friends, and we'd shoot this 15-minute video, and then we'd do a sequel that was 45 minutes long. And I learned how to edit videos back in the day doing those things. And in high school, I definitely shot an hour-long, I guess you could call it a remake of like the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella with my friends. Of course, I cast myself as the lead. I was the choreographer, the director, all that. And I think that has lent itself to me knowing that I can accomplish things, even if they're on a small scale, that it's literally, as I said, just logistics, just have to make things happen. So trusting yourself is something that is important, as well as once you do something, once you accomplish a project and see the finished product, and you can say, wow, I did that. That gives you some confidence to move forward next time. And I always learn so much from every single project I've shot. I probably shot 15 or 20, probably 15-ish big dance performances on YouTube, music video type things. And that has taught me so much. And now I have it down to a science. I know exactly what I need to get done each time. And I wouldn't have had that knowledge at the beginning, but you learn so much as you go. And I think that life experience is something that I will happily take forward with me in the future, whether it's projects like this or, on a larger scale.
So going back to you maybe being like a lot of kids creating stuff in their backyard or playing pretend inside with their friends, whatever. Fast forward, when was it, or what was the project that you feel was like your first legit piece where you're like, oh, this wasn't pretend, like I did this, I did the thing? Can you recall that first moment where you're like, hey, I'm not pretending anymore?
Right. I think it would be one of my very first YouTube videos. I was like, after I became a Broadway actor, I was working on the Book of Mormon, and that's when I created the Cups tap dance, which is one of my first, actually it was my first viral video. We had 1 million hits the first week, and it was on all the TV shows. It was awesome. And that one was like, okay, as I talked about the confidence that comes with finishing a product and finishing a project and releasing it to the world, when it's well received, that does give you a boost of confidence. And that was the time I realized, okay, I'm not just messing around. I'm not just doing this for fun. I mean, I am doing it for fun because I love it, but I know what I'm doing, and I'm learning, and I'm also putting out a good product, and that was important to me. I'm not really interested in being a part of projects that aren't well produced and well thought out and well executed. And if I have control over those things, I definitely want to make sure I'm checking all those boxes.
I think that's a great point, and just something to drive home for anyone listening is just that before you got those 1 million hits on that particular video, the formula wasn't necessarily different. You were still having fun, you were still following your passion, you were still creating, and it just happened that on this one you kind of hit the jackpot per se as far as having a viral video. But it wouldn't have happened unless you just kept making art, you kept creating. And I think that can be kind of a deterrent or a roadblock for some, where they think, they have to be swinging for the fences on that first go at it, when really they just need to get started.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing is just starting. I think that's the same thing with a workout plan or whatever your next, goal is that you want to accomplish. Just get started, because and I'm guilty of it too in many areas of my life. I put things off and I don't, move forward. And it doesn't have to be perfect every time. But someone once said that, finished is better. Wait, finished is better than incomplete or something like that. So as long as you get it done, as long as you get past the finish line, that's so much better than it being an idea in your head that you never, attacked, you never brought to life. Because there's nothing worse than having an idea for something and then seeing, down the line that someone else brought something similar to life, and you're like, oh, I had that idea. And if you have the idea, like, jump on it. Like, don't let that opportunity pass you by. If you can make it happen, make it happen.
Your husband Clay is also a performer and actor in the Broadway community, and you and Clay are very active on your YouTube channel. Speaking of coming up with ideas, how do you continuously come up with these creative thoughts or themes for each video that you two so often are putting out?
I was thinking about that earlier today, actually. I was thinking that 2020 has been a wild ride, and some of my favorite memories of this year have been us doing really silly things and like creating gingerbread houses or things that we wouldn't normally document. We've documented those, and we've kind of elevated the experience with all of those. And some of my favorite memories from 2020 have been doing these things for our vlogs together. It's a great like bonding thing for us, and it's really fun to interact with people from all over the world. Clay had the idea earlier this year. We started vlogging a little bit last year, and we kind of got lost when we were planning our wedding, and we kind of let it sit on the sidelines. And then earlier this year, he said, people are really consuming a lot of content in 2020. We're all stuck at home. We should be making stuff. And so we've been doing YouTube vlogs twice a week, doing a variety of things. We would make a Halloween cocktail and do Halloween trivia, to showing people around New York City, whatever we would kind of think of that week. So the ideas, we have a little note on our phone. Anytime an idea pops up, we jot it down. And it's resulted in some really fun memories for Clay and I, as well as some really fun things we maybe wouldn't have done otherwise, including silly games with the family on Thanksgiving. We have more of those planned for Christmas. And it's a great way to just create a fun memory and also share it with the world.
Okay, so the holidays are coming up. Could you share one idea for people listening out there that they could play with their family during this season?
Absolutely. So this one was suggested by Clay's mom, Colleen. We actually did it last year. We're going to do it this year and film it. I'm not sure what the official title would be, but it's a timed game. You have two teams, or I guess you have teams of two. And one person, you have pantyhose. You got pantyhose that you'd like get at the dollar store or something, or wherever you buy pantyhose. I haven't really purchased any in my life. And a lot of blown up balloons. And it's a contest as you can fill each leg of the pantyhose with balloons. And you throw it on your head, it looks like giant reindeer antlers that are like 4 feet tall, however tall pantyhose are. And it's so funny because like the balloons are so big and the pantyhose are so tight, to squeeze the balloons in, it's a hoot. And you time yourself to see which team gets done first. And if there's multiple teams of two, you can rank and see who gets first, second, and third. And it's so funny and just a lot of laughs and a very silly, lighthearted game that families can play with people of all ages.
And have you done this yet, or you'll be documenting it coming up?
We're going to document the 2020 version. We played it last Christmas, and it was a lot of fun. So you can have that to look forward to.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. All right. So kind of steering away from the video production or your YouTube channel, things like that. What have you been doing in 2020? I guess performance-wise, the training part of it. So not so much the producing side, but whether it's your fitness, vocals, just the business of, I don't know, live tapes, things like that. What have you had to do to kind of stay in the game as we're in this time of waiting?
I mean, this year's just been so different for a lot of us, but what has made me feel the most like myself is when I am finding a way to perform or training at the gym, things that feel normal to me, that I'm used to doing in everyday life. And when those were all taken away at first in the pandemic, I think a lot of us kind of felt lost. We weren't sure what to do without, a goal to work towards, or a show to go to, or a gym to go to and, get our, our typical exercise in. And I think we've all had to shift a little bit. So this year, some of my favorite moments have been but I've had the opportunity to perform live for an audience, which has been so few and far between for people in our industry. I've done a couple outdoor concerts, which have been fun in parking lots with some people socially distant. In Massachusetts this year, we're actually going back to do a holiday one outdoors in the cold later on this week.
Wow.
So
How's that gonna work? How's that gonna work?
This is at the Franklin Performing Arts Company in Franklin, Massachusetts, which is right outside of Boston. And the theater has a big, it's a black box theater, has a big, I guess, like garage type door that opens up to the parking lot. So the band's gonna be inside, the stage is gonna be right outside. We're gonna kind of cycle out and we'll sing. And Clay and I are gonna sing and tap dance and everything. And then there's also other things people can walk through the parking lot. There's like an ornament station and a hot chocolate station. It's gonna be really cute. And thankfully, we only have to do like one number at a time. So we get to go back inside to the warmth. But I think regarding your first question, I feel like whenever we did join a gym here in New York City that's really taking the COVID situation seriously and is at 30% capacity, and you have to sign in every time you go so they can call you if anything pops up. And it's been a game changer for me to get back into a fitness regimen. And also with singing and dancing, I really miss dance classes, but for a while this year we took a lot of online dance classes, and we're all kind of making it work and doing our own thing. But I was thinking even this week, I was like, post-Christmas and everything, I want to get back into singing more, because I think singing is the one thing I have done the least this year. And I sing around the house, but actually warming up and like singing a full song, whether it's just for myself and to get back into training my voice, or if it's something to share, I definitely want to do more of that in the new year.
Fabulous. Well, if you go to record any more singing in your makeshift studio, hopefully no construction's going on while you're doing it.
Truly, we've been lucky with recording and it being quiet in our apartment. No neighbors have ever complained. We've been in our apartment for like 6 years. And then all of a sudden, the apartment above us, I think, opened up, and they're doing, I don't know if they're ripping up the floors or putting in new cabinets, but it's like someone's bowling up there.
I think in the podcast world or the live stream world like this, when you listen to something like this a year or two later, you'll instantly just be able to say, oh, this must have been in 2020 when everyone was doing interviews from their apartments.
Absolutely.
When 2021 comes up, you're still currently quotation marks on the Philip tour with Hamilton right now, right? You were in Canada when the shutdown happened?
Yeah, good memory. So we were in Toronto. We were playing a multi-month like sit down there, which we were all really excited about. We had been there for I think about a month when the shutdown happened, and our tour schedule has of course been put on hold, and I'm sure is being reworked. But hopefully we get to go back to Toronto and finish. I hope we get to finish out that run as well as hit up the other cities we were supposed to hit up. But yeah, I do have about a year left on my contract there, so a year or more of Hamilton is ahead for me.
And is your trunk still up in any of your stuff still up in Canada?
So if y'all watching don't know this, whenever you tour with a big show, they give you a big trunk. It looks like a treasure chest, right? And you put all your stuff in it that's heavy that you don't want to put in your suitcase, and they travel it with the set. So our trunks are all packed up, padlocks and everything, in a storage unit in Toronto because they've had trouble shipping our stuff back. So like winter coat, boots, things like that. Had to get some new ones this year.
Okay, so you already said the coat and the boots. Is there anything else in your trunk that you repeatedly keep saying, oh, I just wish I had this right now?
It sounds so silly, and I guess I don't need it for my voice, but a humidifier, it just gets so dry in these New York apartments with the heat blasting all the time, and a humidifier, I could buy another one, but I feel silly with having one in Toronto. But that's one thing I thought about recently that I really wish I could have. Thankfully, a lot of the things I have in there are like dress clothes for opening night, and I haven't had any fancy events to go to this year, so I've lucked out in that way.
Awesome. Well, if Clay's listening in or anyone that wants to get Christopher something for Christmas, he's needing a humidifier. So
put it in my letter to Santa Claus.
Exactly. All right, Christopher, that's all we have for you today. Thanks so much for joining us on Motivation Monday.
Thanks so much. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for the time.
Make sure you give Christopher a follow out there on Instagram or any of the social media platforms. Check out his YouTube page as well. Some amazing stuff going on that will make you smile, make you laugh, or just keep you engaged for, I don't know, the moment of 2020. For everyone else that's watching as well, don't forget about our free trial with Built for the Stage. You can go to builtforthestage.com. Check out what we have going on our online fitness platform to train like the Broadway athlete that you are. All right, everyone, have a great week. We'll see you later.